because what we're not understanding is why people don't do things. And it's often because it's not that they don't want to, it's just that it's very difficult. You're either poorly paid, don't have time to stand in line for 5 hours to get the vaccine. So why not have the local council involved, where they can open up a shop that sadly has closed down because of the economy, and help roll it out so that you can hop off the bus after working in whatever essential service you do and get vaccinated, or walk to your local vaccine supplier.
The removal of obstacles in conversation and engagement with those for whom you want to remove those obstacles is a critical aspect of Safety Differently, Safety 2, right? The question often being, not, why are you violating? Why are you not doing this? No, but the question then becomes, why does this make sense to you? What is the obstacle that keeps you from doing this?
We've brought about an enormous exercise in vaccination with a big paradox. And the paradox is, for half of the population, it couldn't happen fast enough. And for the other half of the population, they don't want to touch it because it's happened too fast. And so there's a whole lot of hesitancy related to the fact that this is all new. We've never done it before. Nobody's ever developed a vaccine so quickly. How do we know it's going to be safe? And then how could they force us to do that when we're not quite sure? And so I think the society we live in has forced us to have a whole lot of complications that make what seems to be logical, like get everybody vaccinated as quickly as possible so we can reduce other restrictions, it's become a bit of a quagmire that hasn't been assisted by the way it's been communicated.
There's whole communities now that feel disengaged or not trusted in what they've got to contribute into that process. And I think where you're going, Sue, and I sort of feel the same, is that if you want people to participate, you've got to partner and have them, feel like that they've got some input and their opinion is valued and their voice is valued. And then you can actually lead a discussion that gets to a mutually beneficial path.
In a sense, there seems to be a particular perspective of this pandemic that is, with respect, our perspective, which is a privileged perspective, right? We're often surprised by the plight of people who are, having to do 3 jobs and to make ends meet, for whom taking a day off or 2 is not really an option because there are serious consequences for their welfare. And unless we engage with empathy in relation to those situations and actually try, as Mary Louise said, try and work through preemptively solutions as a country, as states, as organisations, we're going to be vulnerable to those type of outbreaks and misalignments.
I mean, initially, of course, as soon as you talk about a mandate that's imposed from the top down, Safety 1 bells go off. Whoa, that sounds very Safety 1. We mandate that thou shalt be vaccinated. But ultimately, of course, both testing, even if it's sniffer dog quality testing, it's better than not having a sniffer dog, I suppose. But particularly vaccination, of course, is all about building capacity, right? And Safety 2, Safety Differently, has always been about understanding capacities that make things go well. Well, the strongest capacities that make things go well is knowing whether you're infected or knowing that you're inoculated, other people around you are inoculated. And so very quickly, that becomes sort of a utilitarian argument that removes most, I think, objections, Safety 1 type objections to a vaccination mandate, because the objections or fears of the few will quickly be overrun by the advantages for the many.